This is Jeremy here, Metal Music Meltdown, back with another video. Whatever today, guys, is my next installment of my top 10 band members, if you will. I've already done my top 10 hard rock slash metal guitarist of all time, or at least my personal top 10. I've done my top 10 female metal singers, my top 10 male metal singers, my top 10 female hard rock vocalist, and my top 10 male hard rock vocalist. So I wanted to tackle drummers next. This was a little bit more challenging because on the technical side, I'm not as familiar with drumming and, what makes one drummer better than the other on the technical aspect of it. A bunch of drummers did come to my mind right away thinking of this list. Obviously, all the drummers on the list I know are very highly capable and highly talented. That's why they're well known in the industry. But on the technical side, like I said, I couldn't really tell you why my drummer at number 5 is better than my drummer at number 8 position or something like that. I pretty much just picked drummers that were part of projects that I really enjoy, and I think their drum sound really elevated the music or added something to it, or maybe they just were fun to watch live, or were really animated playing the drums, or things like that. And just drummers I grew up with over the years, listening to music and different bands I really like, and that's kind of how I approached the list. So let's jump right in, guys. Number 10, I went with Keith Moon from The Who. Crazy man behind the kit. Definitely elevated the Who's music, in my opinion. Definitely made them a lot heavier than they would have been without him. The Who as a band were pretty relaxed guys for the most part. Keith was the one guy in the band that was kind of a crazy guy, partying, had a lot of alcohol issues. And unfortunately, his demise was from substance abuse in the long run. He died very young at age 32. But crazy good drummer, highly talented. He was one of those drummers that I love. He was very animated behind the kit, flailing his arms, like really heavy hitting. I like that style of drumming. It's really fun to watch, and it's just very animalistic looking and just intense. But really good drummer. Elevated the Who's music and really good. Number 9, I went with Ginger Baker, really good old school drummer. From Cream is where I know him from mostly, but he's a drummer who kind of makes like jazz style playing with like African rhythms. He was kind of known for that, kind of blending that together. He was born in 1939, so he was definitely one of the old school guys. He died at age 80 in 2019, unfortunately. But he mixed a blend of like rock and jazz and Afro beats and had just a really cool sound to his drumming and made Cream a very formidable band, like a super group, if you will. And in terms of other projects he did, he had a solo stuff going on. He had, well, of course, within Cream was the other big project. A couple of jazz ensembles as well he did, but just a really good drummer, cool sound. Hawkwind was another one, but just a really cool drummer and a legend behind the kit. Number 8, I have Mike Portnoy, of course, well known for Dream Theater is the biggest band he was always in, and he's recently reunited with Dream Theater, which is really awesome. He was really good in behind the kit with them. Very technical player, plays a lot of complex, progressive style drumming, odd time signatures. I'm sure very difficult to play. But of course, aside from Dream Theater, he was in Liquid Tension Experiment, Transatlantic Orchestra, Liquid Trio Experiment. He even played live and stuff for Avenged Sevenfold, a Nightmare album. What else? Haken, he did some stuff. Metal Allegiance group, Sons of Apollo, the Winery Dogs. It's been a lot of projects. He's always busy guy, keeping his name out there. But of course, Dream Theater is the biggest thing he was a part of, and just a really good drummer. The thing I love about Mike Portnoy is he has that frontman energy, but he's behind the kit. He's bigger, larger than life attitude and persona. He has the charisma and attitude of a frontman. Very outspoken, very charismatic, but he's behind the kit. And he definitely brings a whole different element to their stage show, for sure. At number 7, I have Mickey D play. His hair flying all over the place. He's like headbanging and slamming the drums. Super fun to watch. Of course, he was part of Motorhead, one of my favorite bands of all time. And he recently joined, he was in King Diamond as well, which was huge. He was in Don Dawkins' solo band. Motorhead's the biggest one. And then recently he joined Scorpions. And he definitely beefed up the Scorpions sound, added a lot of heaviness to their music. Always loved Mickey D. I almost put Phil Animal Taylor on here as well, the original drummer from Motorhead. Because he's one of the first people to introduce a double kick. But for some reason, I just like Mickey D's playing overall better. And he's just insane behind the kid. Love watching him play. And he really boosted the level of heaviness on the Scorpions as well. At number 6, I have Bill Ward, of course, from Black Sabbath. Added a cool, like a jazzy kind of element to Sabbath. He's a perfect example of a guy who's like in the pocket and just kind of doing what he does to carry the rhythm of the song going. I wouldn't say he's overly crazy, from my understanding anyways. Let me know otherwise in the comments. Every time I watch him play, he doesn't look like a over-the-top crazy technical player, if you will. I'm sure what he does is very difficult, and he's a really good drummer. But for me, I always saw him as a guy who was just always in the pocket, performed his role perfectly and added a lot of dimension to the music. And of course, he's a legend from Black Sabbath, and he had to make my list. At number 5, I have Coy Powell, one of the people that instantly came to my mind for this list. He was a part of a lot of my favorite albums, like Rainbow Rising. That drum intro on Stargaze, like just his drum sound was so heavy and bombastic. He's another guy who just wailed the hell out of the drums. And for his discography, he was in the Jeff Beck group, Rainbow. He was on the first 3 or 4 albums. He was on Grant Bonnet's record, Michael Schenker group, Whitesnake, Slide It In, Emerson, Lake and Powell. He joined Emerson, Lake and ELP at one point. What else here? He's on Black Sabbath, a couple later Black Sabbath albums as well. Brian May's solo project. He's been a part of a lot of good stuff. I just wish he kind of stayed in one place for a longer time. He was kind of all over the place. But he took part in some of my favorite albums of all time and added a really bombastic, heavy drum sound, which I love. Number 4, I went with Gene Hoglan, another guy that instantly came to my mind. They call him the human drum machine, or the atomic something is called as atomic clock as a nickname. He's a bigger dude, but he's like so precise and he can play with such speed and precision. I've never seen anything like it. And again, part of some of the biggest bands I've loved. He started in Dark Angel, really fast, intense drum sound on Dark Angel. He was in Death for symbolic individual thought patterns, Strapping Young Lad, Testament, Devin Townsend Project, solo stuff. What else? He's been in a lot of really cool projects. But yeah, always been one of my, Death Clock was another one. Always been one of my favorite drummers, really good thrash drummer, intense speed and ferocity, but really precise and precision drummer, really impressive. And along the same vein is the next one here, Dave Lombardo. This guy's just a blast of energy, plays thrash, speed, traditional metal, hardcore punk. Again, also obviously known for his work in Slayer with crazy high intense playing. And he makes it look so effortless and always been one of the best extreme metal drummers of all time by far. And he's been in like Suicidal Tendencies. He's still with them. He does drumming for Misfits, which is, his drumming's on a level way above what the Misfits really need, but it's really cool that he plays drums for the Misfits as well. Slayer, of course, Mr. Bungle. He was in Testament briefly. And yeah, just a really crazy drummer. One of the best in metal of all time. Had to make my list. Number 2, had to go with Neil Peart, of course, of Rush, rest in peace. This guy had that crazy like 40-piece drum set all pretty much surrounding him, 360. Just a crazy drummer. If you watch those YouTube videos of him doing like a 20-minute drum solo. It's ridiculous. Just such a high quality. When I think of Neil Peart, I think of a guy who's just got so much talent and raw skill. Very jazzy style playing. And yeah, he made, Rush, all of them are top tier musicians. And he's Neil Peart. Like, he's one of the greatest of all time. I don't know what else to say about him. He was just on the next level. And the last one here for number one, I had to put John Bonham. He's a legend. Played with the big sticks. Another guy who really hit the drums hard. A lot of intensity and made Led Zeppelin sound a big part of what it was. And just bombastic and heavy sounding and grandiose and arguably the best drummer of all time. So let me know down below, guys, what your picks would be for your top 10 drummers. There's a lot of guys I didn't make my list, like the guy from Tool. I know a lot of people think he's like the best of all time. The guy from Gojira is really good. Brand from Mastodon is really good. He almost made my list. There's a bunch of them. Like I said, Filthy Taylor from Motorhead was another one that didn't quite make my list. And there's a bunch. But let me know down below, guys, who would you pick for drummers that I didn't mention, or are your favorite drummers of all time. So thanks for watching, guys. Keep it metal.